Okay, I'm live. It's the Nazarite bringing you Hebrew lore from days of yore. And in this week's Torah portion, we are done with the book of Exodus, the book of Shmot, and it ends with the tabernacle being erected, or built anyway. And Moses takes the anointing oil and anoints the priests and anoints all the different vessels and the parts of the tabernacle and the sheets and the fabrics and the different instruments that were used. And then, after that's done, there is a cloud that appears over the tabernacle, which enters it, signifying the dwelling of the divine presence. Now, the same thing, or the same sort of thing, happens when King Solomon builds the first temple. He builds the temple, and then there is this divine presence that goes inside of it. And the priests, much like in this week's Torah portion with Moses, the priests at the time of the first temple cannot stand and be of service because of the divine presence that is inside. There is this idea, and Solomon says it right then and there. He says, God dwells in the mist, something along those lines in the book of Kings. And I think that the idea is that there will always be a separation between creator and creation. That's irrevocable. That's something that simply exists. There is a difference between the Most High and everything else that has ever been created. Everything. Even the different pathways of energy and divine influence are still separate completely, so to speak, from the creator. We don't know the nature of the creator, but somehow, it really is somehow, there is a building or a tent of meeting where there is a kind of divine revelation, a kind of divine presence that can, where it can dwell, that can dwell within that building or tent of meeting. Now, the originally, when Moses is first commanded to build the tabernacle, it says they should build a tabernacle, so I should dwell within them. It doesn't say build a tabernacle and I will dwell within it, but within them. In giving the divine presence an actual place to dwell, there's also a kind of divine presence that dwells within us. Now, that the divine presence that dwells within us supersedes, or rather precedes that, since the tabernacle was only built at the time of the wandering in the desert, and the first and second temples in Jerusalem were built many, many years later. There is a divine presence which comes before all of that, and that's the divine presence within the physical temple of the human body. I am very much of the opinion that it's our body which is the original temple, and I'm not belittling any temple, tabernacle, or modern day synagogue. I am of the opinion that these are maybe not substitutes, but it's not the original way in which the divine presence was meant to dwell. It was something that was done, housing the divine presence in a tent or in a building made of earth and wood and metal and whatnot, and fabrics made of skins of animals and sheets of fabrics, different colors. That's all well and good. And obviously, it was commanded by the divine, by the creator. So it has a purpose and a place. But I think it's not the original intent. Whenever I want to go back to the original intent of something, I go back to the first time it appears in the Bible, if there is such a thing. And I think that God wanted to have his divine presence lay in the human being, in mankind, right, with Adam and Eve and all that. And because of whatever happened there, and we were expelled from Eden. But the idea is that we are meant to go back there at some point and partake of the fruit of the tree of life, which was never forbidden, only guarded, as I've mentioned in previous videos. So I think more than anything, and this is how I live my life, I'm well aware of the fact I'm all for building a third temple, and synagogues, I'm not a big fan nowadays because it's very divisive, and I feel that sometimes, only sometimes, it can do more harm than good. But what I'm trying to say with this little tidbit here is that I'm a big fan of the human body being the original temple, and that it is possible for the divine presence. I mean, we say that the body houses the soul. What greater divine revelation and presence is there than a soul, which some say is really just a thread, a kind of thread, from the creator down to this physical mortal coil? What better way to signify or embody the divine presence than by making our own bodies a temple, right? A place where the divine presence can dwell and rest. That cloud that appeared over the tabernacle, um, that was a physical sort of thing, a physical manifestation of a spiritual force or revelation. And I feel that our human bodies, with our souls, and you can take that however you want, the nature of a soul, what is a soul, does it exist? There is something here that gives us strength and life, and which is gone when the body is dead. There is something there, even if I can't put my finger on it exactly. I do know there's something there, and we need to give that more of a presence within us. We need to give that soul just a larger house, and this is done through righteousness, through doing good things, through being kind to one another, through having faith. I mean, real simple faith in ourselves, in our abilities to grow, and in the Most High, faith in God. And again, God is a subjective term, take it however you want. So in this Torah portion, when Moses finishes erecting the tabernacle and anointing it, and the divine presence can rest in there, as soon as the divine presence goes in, Moses is unable to stand and be of service. And that's a kind of paradox. They were doing this whole thing in order to serve God and to execute the divine will. But once it's done, God, a divine presence enters, and the human being can't go in. There's something there that needs more of that needs to be looked at more. And I'm not going to go further into it because I don't want to make this video too long. But suffice it to say that this Torah portion where everything is done, and then there's a kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's when the divine commandment is fulfilled to its fullest that the differences between creator and creation they become that much more apparent. I mean, human beings are human beings. They are fallible. They are made of from the earth. You know, we're very much material things, at least in body. And we have the divine presence within us, just as the divine presence existed within that tabernacle or within the temple. And just like there was a service that was carried out in the tabernacle and in the temple, there are services that we need to carry out with our own bodies. And it can be from engaging in certain practices or abstaining from certain practices. And it's about finding that balance and going according to the commandments, however you want to take that, and finding a path of righteousness where you can exist between that creator creation, within that, somewhere within that, the human being exists. I just want to wish us all a wonderful Sabbath, a wonderful weekend, a wonderful new moon. May it be a good one, full of positivity and righteous deeds, good thoughts, good actions, good intent. I want it to be a very, very good month for me and for everyone else, for all mankind, for all creation. It's the tribe of Levi, my tribe, which this month corresponds with. So I really, really want to wish us all a wonderful new moon and a great weekend, a wonderful day. God bless. I'll see you in the next video.